Alright guys, so now we're going to watch the market move in real time. It's obviously recorded. I've just recorded it maybe about an hour ago, and the reason I've recorded it, I'm not going to show you in real time as in live, is because as you'll notice, the market's moving so fast. It's difficult for me to slow things down and obviously pick things out and show you what's going on. Because at first, don't be too hard on yourselves. Maybe there'll be some of you who this will be easy for, but I think it's fair to say the majority, if it's the first time you're seeing it, a lot of it's going to go way over your head. Don't be too hard on yourself. We're going to go over this lots of times, and you will obviously have the opportunity to practice on your own. So look, it's absolutely normal. Um, Over 10 years ago, when I was doing this for the first time in a professional environment, I was like, oh, I'm never going to get this. But eventually, it came with time and practice. So, like I said, be easy on yourself. Now, before I start this live replay, what I just want to go over is summarize what some of this stuff is, because whilst you're watching it live, it's going to be very helpful for you. If I just remind you what's going on here. So, this is the time and sales. Obviously, that's the price, which is reflective of the bid and ask, as we said. The volume is the aggression. So what's probably going to be easier is if I just move this over just for a minute, and I just show you actually, if I just move the time and sales out of the window just for a second. So what I've done to make this really understandable for you and to get my point across, and why we are so focused on the futures market, is I've actually brought here an MT4 or retail platform, MetaTrader 4. So what's happening, guys, is if you go in and click on type, it's going to give you two options. It's going to say market execution, or it's going to say pending order, right? If you decide to use a market execution and hit the buy or sell button, you hit buy, for example, that's going to show up on this column or these two columns, depending. Obviously, that's buy, that's sold. And bot is just something used in institutional circles as a shorthand for bought. And if you click sell, then it's going to show up in this column. So this is the aggression that we talked about before. You're actually going out there, you're hitting buy, you're making an immediate decision to buy the market. What you see here, which of course is not on the time and sales but is on the depth of market, is the depth. That's why it's called the depth of market. So that's showing you the actual supply. That is, for example, if you were to click on type and hit pending, would you agree, if you placed a buy limit, you're not actually buying, are you? And you can choose the price. So what institutions are doing, and a lot of these are algorithms, like automated machines doing this, but for the purposes of keeping it simple, let's just assume it's other institutional traders. They'll be doing the same things, guys, but on an institutional platform. They'll be placing pending orders. So this could be one person, it could be 68 people, it could be two people of 34 contracts each. He's gone in on his platform, and he's put buy limit, he's put 127.84, and then he's put the size. Now here I've just got it at 5 lots, but it could be anything. So he could have put 68, he could have put 1, like I said, and it all accumulates and it's just placed there. So that's the intention, guys. That's the availability. So what you're going to see when I hit play is this is going to change quite fast. People are putting in limit orders constantly. That's the intention. You won't see that on the time and sales. What you will see, however, is this. And this is what you see on a volume profile, footprint, so on and so forth. I don't want to talk too much about those things because it's going to get confusing for you. But when I move this across, I'm going to get rid of this because watching too many things at one go will obviously be too much for your senses to take in, especially if it's the first time you're seeing it. But what I will do is I'm going to keep this chart open, and I want you to see how It's the execution and changes in demand and supply and the interaction between that and what's basically going on between the two middle columns and the outer two columns that's causing this price to change. Now, there is actually a couple of steps in between this price changing and this price changing, and I have to tell you this because otherwise it's not entirely accurate, because this is the spot market and this is the futures market, and that's why there's an ever so slightly difference in price. So here it's 127.88 for example, or obviously the bid side is 87 and here you see 82. That's just because it's the futures market and the spot market, and there are certain steps, things like arbitrage and hedging, that cause these markets to stay in tandem. But this is as close a reflection as demand and supply you're going to get, because of the nature of the foreign exchange market being a spot market, OTC. A lot of the flow is proprietary, you won't be able to see it. However, because of arbitrage and hedging factors, this is a very, very accurate reflection of true supply and demand. And it's actually beyond the scope of this module, but I want to say it now because we're here, and I always tell people, look, if you can, trade foreign exchange, but try and leave that till much later in your career, because it's very advanced because of this particular reason. When you're trading the E-mini S&P 500 or crude oil, those futures markets are so large relative to foreign exchange, and there isn't much of an OTC market, at least in terms of immediate risk taking for oil and the S&P futures, that they're essentially reflective of almost 100% of demand and supply. Whereas obviously this is a sample. Again, if none of this makes sense to you, don't worry, we can revisit it as we get more advanced. Just for now, know that this is a very, very accurate reflection. So, and I'm going to prove this to you, because when you see this demand and supply change, you're going to see the retail platform change, and that will obviously prove it to you once and for all that actually it's the interaction of volume that's causing this to go up and down. It's nothing to do with any silly indicator, and that's why you've obviously tasked me with teaching you the same things a professional firm would. So you've got to imagine, if you're sitting right now in a professional firm, guys, this is what they're going to show you is moving the price. And in fact, like I said, you won't even see a chart. And the reasons for that will become obvious once we go through this example, why you don't actually need a chart, especially not for the first few months. So I'll pause it a few times anyway, but hopefully that helps when we actually press play. So let's go ahead and cover this up. Let's press play. And like I said, I will pause it, but let's just let it play for a few minutes. So here you can see actual orders hitting sell. So there you can see there's quite a build up of sellers coming into the marketplace, and that's reflected in the market going down. So it's actually these sellers that are driving the market down, guys. And there you can see this intention will be changing all the time. You just saw a flurry of sellers come in that caused the market to dip down again. There you go, big flurry of sellers again, causing the market to dip down again. And you're going to notice here the intention start to increase to sell. That also adds a little bit of pressure, and we are going to come back to this. There you go, look at that. That shot up. So let's just pause it there a second. So what happened there, I did scroll it just to keep this in the center, but essentially, as you can see here, a lot of sellers coming in. And like I said, you'll see these numbers on the footprint, this area. But let's put that aside for one moment. And what's actually happening is you're seeing a lot of aggression come in. They're basically hitting these bids. These are people who want to buy. the information we're interested in for the time being is this, the time and sales. And I intentionally let this play because I just want you guys to see how everything comes together in terms of demand and supply and the chart moving. Notice how no indicators, guys, nothing to do with an indicator. I can assure you that a significant chunk of this volume are automated machines being used by hedge funds and banks to place orders based purely on what you see here, which is a volume build up. And it's these guys, there is no technical indicator in any of these algorithms. It's pure volume trading. That's what they're basing their buy and sell decisions on. So we're going to pick up the action again, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear all these. You'll see me, that's me controlling the mouse. I'm going to clear this area just to keep it clean, because I want to highlight how these orders are reflected on the time and sales, because that's the whole purpose of this video. So let's just pick up the action again. So there you go, I've cleared it. Now let's just pause it when we see the next print come in. Now I just want to point out, guys, you can still see this flickering a tiny bit. Now the reason for that is, have you noticed how in the futures market it's the 4 decimal places, whereas on your retail platform it's the 5 decimal places. You may remember, I think maybe 10 years ago, brokers decided to increase on retail platforms down to 5 decimal places. Now all that means is your broker's own algorithm, based on liquidity pools that it has access to, is deciding incrementally between these two where it wants to give its own bid and offer to you. That's why you see, that's why you see this flickering, but it's actually not moving in terms of a whole pip. So just because this is moving doesn't mean anything. It's when it moves one whole pip is that actual demand and supply is driving that. The actual incremental adjustments, tiny, that you're seeing, that's your broker's algorithm just moving. I thought I'd just point that out because people might see this moving without this actually printing. So let's pick up the action and see if we can actually, I believe a bid comes in, I can't remember, but let's say a bid comes in. I want to show you how that's reflected on the time and sales. There you go. So you saw 10 come in there, and you've seen 18 on the other side. So let's see how that is shown on the time and sales, guys. So would you agree 10 people sold at 127.77, and look what it did. It caused the price to really crank lower. Now let's have a look here. 127.77. So you see why I can't show you this in real time, because by the time I come over here, guys, this will be 2 miles down. Market's moving very fast in real time. So you see 10. So let's just have a look at the 10 here. Can you see bid trade? Just come in a few moments ago, and the time is actually, look how incremental the time is. So 127.77, yeah, matches the price. Now let's count this together. 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10. Okay, matches the 10. Then immediately, and this could have been some sellers taking profit, we won't know for sure. This is why I say in a professional environment they get you watching this thing, because like I said, I watched it for 6 months without a chart. Reason being, if I see sellers coming in, then obviously I kind of know in my mind that the chart looks like this. I don't need a chart. Believe it or not, this happens over time. It's like driving a car. At first you think, I'm never going to be able to drive this car, it's impossible, but it just becomes almost second nature, right? You can talk on your phone, you can do about 10 different things at the same time as driving a car. That's what happens over time. Now let's have a look at this 18. Someone immediately came and bought 18 contracts. Does that reflect here? Yes, it does. Look at the price there, 127.77, 127.77 again, guys. Let's count it together. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We're just going to pick up the action again and then just finish it off. There you go, another 3 came in. So let's just clear that. Now the price was different, right? Before we saw 10 at 127.77. Now we saw 3 at 127.76. Is that reflected in the time in sales? Yes, it is. 127.76. Sorry if you can hear my dog snore. It's incredibly unprofessional. My dog is snoring in the background. She's very, very old and sleeps most of the day, so I do apologize. And if I put her outside, then she'll start to cry, so please accept my apologies on that. So yeah, you see the 3 there, 2, 3, add those up, and bid trade, so it's in the bid side, which is the sold column. Okay guys, so that's your time in sales. There's 3 examples I've shown you how that is reflected in there. Actually what's happening is the data is coming from the exchange into your platform, and then really this is it in its rawest format, and that's why I wanted to show the time in sales first, and that is reflected in these 2 middle columns. So we're not going to really look at the time in sales. It doesn't really help us because we've already got the information we need here, and this will then feed the footprint, volume profile, so on and so forth. Now that's a little bit advanced. I don't want to confuse you at this stage, but just know that we're going to put this to one side now, the time in sales. We're just going to focus on the depth of market in the next module, because the information that you see streaming down here, you can see it staring at it. It's not really going to help us when we can actually have it nicely compacted, the same information on a depth of market, and this time we can also have this extra bit of information as well, all in one nice area, as well as, you may have noticed, those of you that are eagle-eyed, the volume profile. So everything is nicely together on one platform. And just check this, guys, a lot of volume built up in this area. You can see it here. So the reason I'm highlighting this, I know it's a lot to take in right now, and we will keep coming back to this, but that's why the market is moving away and then back and away from this area. It's because the volume profile build up is in this area. But again, that's very advanced. I'm just saying it for the sake of completion. We'll come back to it. We'll just finish off for a couple of minutes, or maybe just a minute, and then we're going to summarize on the next slide. So I'm just going to let this play out. There you go, you saw some more sellers coming in. Now some buyers are fighting back. That's all profit taking there. People who've just taken short positions there have just dumped back up. So I've cleared it again. There you see 9. And let's count that together. 2, 3, 4. Plus 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9 on the bid side at 127.776. Can you see that there, guys? That's how the time in sales works. You can see again, this is flickering up and down. Again, like I said, it's the 5th digit. If you actually watch this closely, it doesn't actually move even 1 pip. That's your broker just own personal algorithm to the 5th decimal place. But as soon as this moves 1 pip, this is going to move an entire pip. Okay, market's just taking a little breather because it's just had a decent chunk sell-off. So again, just to give you another example, this time you see 17 here, guys. But actually what happened is, in between these 17 buys happening at 77, there were sales coming so fast. This is why I say there's computers involved as well, algos, because actually these 17 are bunched up in between a number of sell trades. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, and 6, 17, yeah? But in between you've got 3, 1, 4, 7, 8, and can you see there's only one there? Because those 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, guys, it happened in a blink of an eye. You didn't even see it. If you actually slowed this video down very slowly, you'll see those 7 happen so quickly, which suggests there were algorithms involved there at that stage. So again, just going to let this play out for a few more seconds, and then we'll end the slide. Okay, some more sellers coming in. A little bit of profit taking. But sellers still very much in control. There you see. So guys, because I've been watching this so long, I can tell I spent a significant part of my life watching this thing go up and down. So obviously for me, I'm kind of trained to see this, but I can see straight away what happened there is you saw there was one big contract order. I think it was over 50 contracts. What someone was probably trying to do is fade this move, and he got very quickly run over. So what he did himself, most likely, is he dumped. And that's what you saw come in on the other side, and that's why you saw a little bit of a flick up, and then it just quickly went down again. So the guy himself was exiting his position, and it probably wasn't a guy, it was probably an algo just trying to take a little quick tick or two. Again, this is just my theory, but that's what you'll be doing throughout the day. When you watch this over and over again and you see it repeat so many times, then those are the little things you're picking up. So we'll come back to this much more in the advanced course, especially in terms of depth of market and what all these things are likely to mean. But the main thing was I wanted to show you how the depth of market is reflected in the time and sell. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope you can now see that there's nothing on the chart, guys, that's making these algorithms and institutional traders buy and sell in terms of technical analysis, guys. It's literally they are watching what the intention is, like a hawk going up and down. And we're going to go now and watch the depth of market again many more times, and actually what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show you how the depth of market is reflective of supply and demand in all markets in the world for other types of goods, and then we're going to build that up into the depth of market. So again, hope that was helpful. Just going to summarize and then we'll move on to the next module.